Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review your and our favorite comedy films, and in sometimes cases for the first time, is going to be television series. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Starting off the new year with some Kevin Smith, so life is great. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm doing well. This is our first Flesh Wound Farce of the new year. So, be it that special circumstance, we found it would be a special circumstance to review a few episodes of this Clerks the animated series. Also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
I am chilling. How about you, Ozzy?
Well, I will say we are filming this ahead of time, but I can say that the night that this is airing, I will be very excited and have lots of angst, to be honest, to host trivia finally. I'll be hosting trivia for the first time in 2 weeks this Tuesday at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest beginning at 7 o'clock, and also this Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia at 7 o'clock. I'll remind you at the end as well, but I'm looking forward to that as for sure, as I can tell you right now. From the
Now, what do you think your chances are of your tag at the bottom there changing? Huh?
why
Hey?
Are we gonna have to?
we're trying to be happy and we're trying to be like in a good mood, and you make it not that way.
I honestly don't know. As far as as far as I know, there was only one decision we had talked
Okay,
about,
yes, all
and
right.
and it was a good choice. So
It
I
was
don't
okay.
know.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just the person there's a guy like I'm kind of tied with to get into the playoffs, and he has Josh Allen. And tonight,
Oh,
Josh Allen put up 50 points, which quarterbacks don't do.
right.
And this guy also had Puka Nakua on his team. So between two players, he had 80 points. Means he should be punched in the nuts. I'm very upset. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just need everybody to lose, which is impossible, but that's what I need. Like everybody, like all teams, like just negative points versus negative points. That's what I'm hoping for. Everybody on the team just fumbles and throws interceptions. Everybody except my team, of course. I need to
Right.
advance.
Right.
So, also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Fleshman producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
Chilling.
Did I already ask you?
Yep.
I think you did. I don't
Have
know.
we
Yeah,
been
you
through
did.
this?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Craig just you brought up the fantasy football thing, and that usually happens at the like, very beginning. So my brain thought that I was supposed to go to Todd, but anyhow, that's not the case. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we are reviewing and discussing the first 3 episodes of Clerks the animated series, also including a bonus that would be episode 0, which recaps Julie Dwyer's funeral from the original film. Not recaps, but rather, well, we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah,
Todd, do you have a trailer for the
I
series
do.
here?
This is the sizzle piece before it came out.
The
We'll talk
sizzle
about
piece.
we'll talk about what happened when it actually
Let-
hit the
Let's
airwaves.
get
But
the sizzle.
here
And
we
now I
go.
want Sizzler. Dang it.
From the network
chicken.
that
Oh,
brought
that
you
cheese
the
bread?
rated smash
Yes.
Wasteland. From the studio that brought you the mega blockbuster Happy Texas. And the filmmakers who brought you the Academy Award-winning cinema classic Mallrats. Comes the next sure thing.
I get it.
I always said this job would be great if it weren't for the customers.
What?
Dante,
Randall!
Randall,
Snugans.
and Jay and Silent Bob are back.
Wait, what?
Clerks, the cartoon.
What are you doing here?
Someone told the boss I needed to work more hours for college credits.
Wasn't me.
I didn't say it was.
Well, that's good because Alright, it was me.
Are we stuck in here? Yep. Cool. Randall, how would you like if we talk about your love life?
You were married to a dude?
Domo Tashiro-san. Huh? Yeah, whatever.
remember, Disney produced, gentlemen.
It's Frozen.
The critics have spoken. I haven't seen it. The movie sucked ass and the show ass sucks. Some high school fuck. Ain't it cool news?
We're not watching that.
I could shit a better show. MagnoliaFanTrueFilm.com.
Outro, Gwyneth.
Get the hell out.
Shit. Pure shit. Kevin's mother.
What's that?
I overpaid for this too. Harvey Weinstein.
We're almost there.
Why are we walking like this?
Is this some sort of gay thing?
No.
You're sure?
Yes.
It looks like a big bong. Hey, that looks like a big bong too.
3 hours late.
And so are these. There's gonna be a late charge.
Kids could really hurt themselves with this stuff.
Heck, man, they could blow their hands off.
He has returned.
Uh-oh. Jesus?
Can't even imagine.
Nice dress.
Very good.
I don't get it.
Let's go home, Randall.
Are you open?
How much are these muffins?
Could you guys vulcanize my tires while I wait?
Nothing exciting ever happens in this place. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Urinating in the frozen food section and watching it steam up? Oh, yeah.
Open for business. March 2000.
Is it just me, or was like 90% of that from the first 3 episodes? I didn't really see much footage. So I guess that's about how far they animated to when they made the trailer.
Fair point. Again, that was the trailer for the animated series of Clerks with an original air date of May 31st, 2000. Now, we did mention episode 0. There is an 8-minute.
Real quick, I did want to,
yeah.
before you jump there, talk about, did you guys actually get to see it like when it was on TV? It was very hard to actually do.
Not on TV,
No.
but I remember seeing this on the DVD.
Because they aired 2 episodes. I remember because I recorded them both. But, and not only, they didn't air episode 1 and 2, they aired episode 4, which we haven't got to yet. So we'll see. Well, maybe we'll know why they picked it first. And they aired episode 2, which when we get to that, it makes that episode hit a lot different if you haven't seen episode 1 because of the flashback gimmick, but we'll get to that.
Right.
So I just thought that's interesting. Yeah. So after 2 episodes, they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. This doesn't fit ABC. So there we go. I wanted to throw that out there.
So this 8-minute scene, it is in the original film of Clerks. Dante and Randall leave the convenience store to go to Julie Dwyer's funeral. And in one scene, they're going to the funeral. The next scene, they're leaving the funeral. Everybody's chasing them, and you don't exactly know what happened. This scene covers everything that happened exactly. And I'm sure there's a cut out there that inserts this scene in.
Oh, yeah, that's where this came from. This was actually on the 10th anniversary Blu-ray because they were producing the cartoon at the same time. So they made it, and it's on that. And you can actually play it with it in the movie on the DVD. I believe Clerks X. It's one with the black cover.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And even features Joey Lauren Adams as Alyssa, and
Your
also
least favorite character.
True. It's least favorite movie. Although it was very humorous to see Randall do the finger guns, say, hey, finger cuffs. But also, what's fun about the funeral scene is it completely recaps Mallrats.
Yeah.
Basically, like within 3 minutes. So that's
Mhm.
fun to see as well. But I mean, there's not much that can be said. I mean, it was a very short scene, but just to explain the stuff that happens with the stuff that happens with the keys in the coffin, it's clear that this is going to be Looney Tunes with dialogue.
Yeah.
Like Looney Tunes with heavier dialogue, basically. And because there's so much absolute just like ridiculousness that happens to a point where like, how could something this like take this long or whatnot? But it's all just to provide the result that you see. And it made me excited for the other episodes.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to add on that before we move on to the next one?
It just makes you curious, like how much more was in Kevin Smith's mind when he was making, the original films and such. Like, was his brain more so Looney Tunes, and he was like, I got a low budget. I can only do so much. Like, let's keep it at dialogue. But yeah, no, it was straight up Looney Tunes and a lot of stuff. And there was just I like where it all went, but I can also see why that whole thing would be cut from the movie. So,
It's funny in your head when you kind of put it together, and seeing it animated in animated form. I thought, it's cool. I mean, it's not like it's not like part of the movie, but like if you want to see like his interpretation, it's there. So I don't know. It's a cool thing. Cool little piece.
mhm.
So we are good here with
Yeah.
the funeral scene. Okay. Moving on to the first episode, episode 1, which actually has the title A Dissertation on the American Justice System by People Who Have Never Been Inside a Courtroom. Also, something that felt kind of exaggerative, Looney Tunes ish, were these titles of episodes. And at the beginning of every episode, you'd have a narrator voiceover that would give factoids, and I say that using air quotes for those listening to the audio version, because it would be ridiculous things that this narrator would say, and it would open up every show and always be different. And I'm not sure if you caught this, but between the 3 episodes, there is something different. It's said differently every time. Is this episode was drawn by a live studio audience, instead of
Mhm.
saying this episode was filmed in front of it. Just ways to switch it up each time, so it sets things up quite well. This I mean, I don't know, I'll get you guys' feedback here. You get 15 minutes into this episode and it's kind of like moving along, but it almost feels as though there's not enough time in this first episode and the ending just happened.
Do you
Right.
feel like the network was right that this wasn't the pilot episode? This wasn't the first. This wasn't the best foot to put out there first.
Yes, because to me it seemed like it just seemed that it would be setting up for a great like hour and a half movie. However, it almost
They
just
got
seemed like,
25 minutes to do it.
yeah, it
Right.
just seems like there was a lot of stuff that was just cut off that could have been fun to see,
Right.
instead of like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It was like, well, we'll just do this at the snap of a finger because it's a cartoon and we can. Which, I mean, sure, but maybe not, like you said.
Did you have to watch
what
these
the
one a
special-
day, Ozzy? Because I know 90 minutes of animation, you might not be able to survive that.
I did watch episode 0 and the first episode and the second episode. And then I
Waited
saw the
today.
third one a little bit later.
You're like, I can't break an hour. These are the rules.
So in also at the end of the episode, if there's anything else regarding this particular episode, and Leonardo with his basically opening Walmart, which is kind of funny to see because it was almost ahead of its time to a certain degree.
Mhm.
Because while this described a quicker stop where you can get everything, you could just slap Walmart on the cover of it and you wouldn't even blink twice.
Yeah.
It would just make total sense. So I thought that was interesting. The ending felt very rushed. But what I did appreciate in this episode is this major guy, Leonardo, who earned his fortune by selling virus to indigenous people of Montreal. But when he says that he built the desk himself and it's not clearly not put together well, it that's a funny satirical look at major CEOs like those the running Walmart types. So I thought those some humorous mild commentary there. Do you guys have anything on this episode that you like to?
I popped for the UPN, the Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer reference, because if anyone doesn't remember, that was a legitimate show that happened in the early 2000s. What year? I don't even know what year were we at this point. The early 90s, late 90s. Oh yeah, that was at least it wasn't Homeboys from Space, so whatever.
You know, what's interesting about this show, because I love me some Kevin Smith, but like for some reason the dialogue kind of stuff in animated form feels like a 20-minute episode is like 40 minutes. And
Oh,
like
right.
not in a bad way, like I do enjoy it. It just feels like a much, because you're so used to fast-paced stuff in an animated something or other, any sort of cartoon. So I did feel it was longer than expected, but I think the funniest part, just because we're watching it knowing the end result of everything, was a little bit of their own foreshadowing. So when they had the previously on Clerks and it had the test signal because there was no
Yeah.
previously, and then next week on Clerks and it did the same thing, which maybe they knew this won't be lasting long.
But you know what? I'm sure Kev was smart, but we'll make a ton on DVDs.
That's right. That's right.
At the very end of the episode, you had Jay and Silent Bob with Jay and Silent Bob's safety tips,
Oh
and
yes.
specifically saying, "Tie your food up in the tree so not to attract bears." The animation just shows a bear going under the food. Till next time, kids. Great, fun way to end it.
Can't forget Charles Barkley.
And actual Charles Barkley providing his voice. It's fun.
Not Jimmy Kimmel and okay. Well, no.
And Alec Baldwin as Leonardo.
Yes.
So,
Well,
also-
you know who was busy. It's hard to get,
now moving on to episode
Alan Rickman.
2.
I couldn't think
Sorry?
of his name. Yeah, it's hard to get Alan Rickman, but that's obviously
right.
who it is.
So with moving on to episode 2, when I saw the title of this, I thought it was interesting because you had the clip show where Dante and Randall are locked in the freezer, and the idea of the second episode being a clip show was kind of funny in itself,
Right.
a joke in itself. And what I was able to surmise about like halfway into the episode, I just realized calling it a clip show almost is, and when they started just doing stuff from the first episode, okay, that's funny. But then when they started to just go into, hey, remember when, and it was basically just random sketches with characters you already know, essentially like an episode of Looney Tunes.
Which is how it played out when it originally aired, because there was no first episode. So it played off like the clip show. All of it was the gimmick, because none of it had ever happened from watching it on TV.
Interesting.
So it plays totally different without, like when I got I was like, holy crap, there was actually an episode before that so the jokes hit totally different.
Some of these jokes in here, though, I mean, this episode, a clip show again, served as a vehicle just to put in some of their stupidest ideas, like that they've ever had, stuff that he couldn't include as jokes in the movie. Like I'm sure that he had this conversation with the video store guy about a movie called Flintstones List and what that would look like, because holy cow, when they showed that clip, I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Well, either could the ABC censors, because this episode aired without the Flintstones list.
Okay.
Oh no.
Of course. Well, I can say that I mean that whole episode, I mean it went beyond a level of ridiculous that it was ludicrous. It went straight to ludicrous speed. Indian Quick Stop. Oh man. That got me good. But yeah, so these were all just random sketches again with characters you knew. Just ran an excuse to have random sketches with Dante and Randall and maybe Jay and Silent Bob. So, yeah, you guys have any favorites?
Oh, that moment at the end where, because they've been locked in so many spots and then they're at the hockey arena. They can't get the gate open. And instead of just like going over, because obviously it's a short gate, they're like, oh, let's go this way and get locked in the burn ward. Like, it's just that bit of stupid that I think the animated series is perfect for, because I don't think you get away with it as much, in any live action kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Todd?
Yeah, I mean the Flintstones list was like that's hysterical. There's so much. I mean, there's like there's a throwaway line at the beginning that the cop says, like after everything goes down, when he's just like, oh, you got a copy of Fat Chicks, and then it just like next scene.
Right.
So yeah, but this is a good solid episode.
And Jay and Silent Bob returned with Rainy Day Fun.
Oh yes.
And the Rainy Day Fun, I did not recap. All right, I just wrote down Rainy Day Fun, and I thought it would hit me. We'll just leave that as a mystery, friend. You got to check out the episode then.
There you go. Check out Rainy Day Fun.
It's at the end of the clip show episode 2 of the series. We're going to move on now to episode
And
3.
Again, more Charles Barkley.
Yes,
More.
shows. That we can confirm.
You got to love the running gag. Episode 3, Leonardo returns and Dante has an important decision to make. The episode opens with fan mail, and to introduce an African American character named Lando. All names. And after this, the show begins, and this is one of the line that opens is, this episode was filmed by a live studio audience. Is how this one had opened. It was a bit of a slow start in this episode. I was bored for the first half of it, to be honest, until the mayor showed up. The fact that he was on his way to a costume party and he couldn't get the zipper out was like just so. It was almost like somewhat of a shock. So the visuals just kind of just like shook you a little bit and it made you laugh. But then when the police chief says, I'm staying in this costume not because the zipper's broken, but because it helps protect me from the virus. And when then everybody started to ask him, like, what are you supposed to be, the big, and he tells him he's supposed to be the Big Mac. And the line of, will this administration ever bring justice to the Hamburglar? Last week when we were filming Are We There Yet episode, and I was in tears at the beginning, is because I was thinking of the line, will this administration ever bring justice to the Hamburglar? And another guy follows up with, well, does this virus affect the Grimace? Like,
did you guys catch Kevin throwing in his compliment to his wife's handwriting in the opening?
Yes. Oh, not on the handwriting, but just
yeah, because he's such beautiful handwriting. That's the way.
Oh, I see. I see. Then the fan mail at the beginning. Why aren't there any women characters on the show? Do women are you afraid of women? Randall just answers one word: yes. Moves on.
He has quite a bit of dialogue that does not fly in 20. As I said earlier, this was a Disney produced cartoon.
Yes, it was, and unfortunately, I'm trying to. I'm sorry, I got to go back to the clip show because I wrote something down on the next page. But it was actually in continuation of this one, so initially I thought it was episode 3. Anytime Randall would visualize something in his head, and he himself would visualize himself to be super smart, and Dante would be in diapers.
Yeah.
But going into that, it was then him on the real Randall being on the Real World and then being kicked off the Real World and doing his own reality show, and he sees the stick pushing coffee onto Dante's crotch. Look at me, I'm such an idiot. So I enjoyed that clip show episode way more than I thought I would. So I'm sorry. Finishing back here with this episode. You have some virus outbreak with Leonardo returning, and it's a virus that was thought to be the virus from Outbreak, when in actuality it stems from bad burritos.
Outbreak starring Al Pacino, by the way.
Al Pacino, not the other, right? And in this episode, James Woods provides his voice as Sergeant Baklava.
Do we not talk about Patrick Swayze providing his voice also?
I'm sorry, Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, that wasn't Patrick Swayze. I thought that was
Patrick
it.
Swayze. No, it was Gilbert Gottfried is Patrick Swayze. And the end of the episode, this was so great, is Science Says with Jay and Silent Bob. Well, first, one of the kids opens saying, "No way, that's way too gross. That'll be $20." And then talk about it. They mentioned something about science, and Charles Barkley shows up, and then Jay and Silent Bob show up in a car and just beat up Charles Barkley and just drive away. We're the only one that does these segments. Mention nothing about science and just drive away. Again, like more like that's like a classic Looney Tunes kind of thing, and very, very enjoyable. So with these 3 episodes, kind of tough, and I guess we could hold out our ratings.
Are we going to do favorite episode and favorite line?
Yeah, let's do favorite episodes of the 3 for me is the clip show, because it was just that vehicle to put them in just random sketch scenes just because they want to tell a one-liner joke. So seeing that as somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of free time, to see that in a quick 20-minute succession is like, you could see that episode and feel refreshed, I guess.
Yeah, it makes me sad. We know we only get 6, that we didn't get more to like find that groove where it just starts firing on all cylinders.
Right.
And I feel like episode 2 is like the spot so far. I mean, like 1 has some issues, 3 has some issues, but 2 with the nonstop jokes and the format, it works, and it's just a lot of laughs. It's hard for me to pick anything but the clip show episode 2.
Greg?
Yeah, I'd agree. Of like a favorite of those, running gags always a win, randomness always a win. So that clip show was definitely the best. Although I do have to say, in episode 3, because it's Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith is known to have random celebrities because he knows everybody in Hollywood. And so that Patrick Swayze moment when you're like, did they really get Patrick Swayze? And then it's Gilbert Gottfried talking. I gotta say, like, I laughed so hard in that moment. That was definitely my favorite moment.
It's even better than actually getting Patrick Swayze.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so we go into favorite moment, and of the 3 episodes of the series so far, it's whenever Randall has that characterization of Dante in his head of being in diapers.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I picture you in my head, Ozzy, so you can laugh more at that. That's what I'm seeing right now.
So from all 3 of these episodes, that moment, whenever that's referenced,
Okay.
I'm always losing it. Well, you guys,
I mean, it is that there's just nothing better than that. For me, it was just that Gilbert Gottfried bit. But since it's been brought up, I'll just say another fun follow-up was there's a moment where Leonardo is talking with everybody, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're here to chat with you." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, it's actually for Pet Store Weekly." Well played, Clerks. It's just the ridiculousness of what he's trying to pass on, and then it's. I love where they do end up taking some of these characters for it.
Todd?
Mine is a line from episode 3. It's towards the very beginning. It's when the cops are there and Dante's talking to him, and Dante tells him, "You're the victims of an overactive imagination of a pop culture loudmouth." And the cop goes, "Who? Quentin Tarantino?" I had to laugh at that little Miramax jab.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a Rose McGowan joke.
Ooh.
Although, can we actually take a favorite moment from the 0 episode?
If you want, yeah, go for
Sure.
Because death trading cards
it.
was brilliant.
This is what I call a rookie card. Yeah.
And wasn't Kevin Smith raised Catholic?
Oh yeah.
So I guarantee that must have been a thought of his going to some of these.
Oh, yeah.
funerals. These are like death cards. This would be a rookie card. Like all of his crass thoughts are just projected
Okay.
onto Randall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Did you know that several films when they were making Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, there's several scenes that were cut that Randall refers to stuff that happened on the series. So it's like canon, like, yeah. So there's like about 90 minutes, I believe, of worth of deleted scenes on the DVD. So like, yeah, it's throughout there. It's on the disc. So
On Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
yeah, on the DVD,
Double
the
check
Blu-ray
it.
doesn't have the deleted scenes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Wait, the Blu-ray doesn't have the deleted scenes?
It's one of those like early Disney ones that they made, and they did the movie and some of the extras, but that was it. It was like really early ones, so they weren't like putting all the features over, because at that time they would have had to done an extra disc, and it was a whole thing. So, and then when Lionsgate repressed it, when they got the rights, they just repressed it, so it's the same disc. So eventually someone will do something with it, but right now it's not very spectacular. But it's on Blu-ray.
So I think maybe instead of rating, I think maybe it would be a good idea to rank these episodes. Like, don't include episode 0 because technically that's a scene from Clerks,
Right.
as
I know,
as I see it. But between 1, 2, and 3, like I'd probably rank them easily 1, 3, and 2, 3, and 1 for the clip show episode, the virus episode, and then having the first episode as my least favorite of the 3.
I'd be the exact same order, honestly, with them.
Greg?
Man, I'm torn. I think I'd say the same way. I like the story of the first one, but I laughed the hardest at the third one. So I think I'll agree with you. 2, 3, 1.
One should have been a 2-parter.
Yes, that was brilliant.
It needed more time to breathe, but I get they wanted to, like, if that's the pilot, we're like, this is what the show's going to be. Let's, I get it, but
although I do have to say the like summarizing. Okay, then phase 62, like having that compressed, that was pretty brilliant.
Yeah, like I don't dislike any of the episodes. I recommend the show. You guys can pick up the DVD, find it. Yeah, I definitely say check it out. So,
and I think we can go ahead and give a rating on the series itself once we've completed the other 3.
Yes,
and then just rate the season as a whole. So, having said that, before I hand off to you guys, in case you have anything this week, I'll be at the Rush Bar and Grill on Tuesday hosting trivia, free to play, of course, beginning at 7:00. Prizes for the top winning team. Also be hosting trivia this Wednesday at the Brewery in Placentia beginning at 7:00. Also free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. Do you guys have anything else before we head off for the evening?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, I hope you all are enjoying your 2025 and are on your way to making it better. So, for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.